you'd like me to go over something once more, or if you'd like me to stop there and kind of answer a few questions. So just the one in the chat if you fully understand everything, and I will ask you when to do so. So for now, I'm just gonna share my screen. Cool. So the first one or two slides are always going to be the same every single week because it's pretty simple and just telling you the purpose of what the whole presentation is about. We're just tackling the mindset, the way you think, which then leads to you taking action, which you already know what to do as part of project 1 and 2, which will then lead to results. Disclaimer that I also have to give before getting on to the presentation is my goal here is for you to take action, not to offend anyone. I'm just trying to motivate people by maybe calling out certain behaviors, but not people. And also I have to say that I'm not a scholar, neither am I a student of knowledge. So please, if I do make a mistake, please forgive me and correct me if you can. But anyway, today's topic is hope and having the right expectation from Allah. Something from the Quran, I'll read it out. And will provide for him from where he does not expect. And whoever relies upon Allah, he is sufficient for him. Indeed, Allah will accomplish his purpose. So here's a question that I ask myself every single day. And I promise you guys, this is not just some wishy-washy mindset stuff. This is very practical stuff that, has really transformed, my financial circumstance. That's the only reason why I'm going through this right now. So why wouldn't you have the right expectation from Allah? It's all about fighting our natural survival instincts of looking out for danger. So what humans do is, our main goal is to survive. When we didn't have these modern civilizations, we had to do that physically all the time, or find those safe places where there won't be tigers or bears attacking us so that could kill us. So inside our heads, there's always this thing trying to look for potential dangers, potential things that could hurt us. And the bad thing now is in this modern civilization, what that then turns into is just kind of something that makes us depressed all the time. At least for me, it did. And to a certain extent, it still does. So I'm looking out for potential dangers, things going wrong, what could go bad, all the time. And what that eventually does is, since childhood, you've been probably doing that. And what that does is it takes all some of the hope that you have, that excitement, that enthusiasm that you have as a child of doing new things and exploring things and actually doing actions. It kind of takes away that excitement away, and which kind of leads to you being a very dull person, or not feeling like doing the action steps, like for example, the action steps that I'm giving to you, because you're like, oh, it's not going to work. Is it really going to work? Is this realistic? And all that stuff, because all that looking for things that are going wrong and bad has piled up into taking that energy away from you for you to be able to do those effective actions. Now, I've covered this a couple of weeks back in a presentation like this, but we say that we have trust in Allah, but we don't show it with our actions. So there's two types of faith. There's dead faith, and then there's practical faith. So people say, I have trust in Allah. I know good will happen with me. I know that my financial situation will change, but we don't actually show it with our actions and taking the steps needed to make that true. That's the case with literally anything. A lot of people say things, but never actually show it with their actions, physical actions that actually count in this world. So that's the difference between dead faith. Dead faith is thinking it, saying you believe something, but not actually showing it with your actions. Practical faith is thinking it, saying you believe it, and then also actually doing it. Now, practical faith energizes you to take the action and get the results. Referring back to the authentic hadith, tie the camel, then rely on Allah. Tying the camel basically means doing the actions required for you to be able to do something, and then you rely on Allah. So this is a powerful combination to use for you to actually get results in life. And I promise you guys, this is truly something very, very practical. Actually believing this can work, this can get you to your goals, but then also backing that up with the necessary actions needed. At the start, as I've made it pretty clear, it will be very, very challenging, which, like with anything in life, there's always disruption when you make the intention to do something. Like, before losing weight, there's always that period where you're so lethargic, and you're not looking too good either. So you have to keep going, and eventually the results catch up. So it's just a pattern of life, which I'll go on to in more detail in the next slides. But here's like the rough structure of how it follows. So having dead faith and listening to shaitan's waswas, saying, "Oh, it's not going to work. It's not realistic, and this sort of stuff doesn't work. And how will it work? It's never happened before. Blah blah blah." Then you take no action or half-hearted action, and then that becomes then a self-fulfilling prophecy of failure, getting no results. Practical faith and actually having hope in Allah leads to you actually doing the effective actions with enthusiasm, and then that leads to actually getting results in life. So far, is everyone following? Please leave a 1 in the chat so I can know, I'm not just waffling. Cool, perfect, guys. Thanks so much for dropping the ones in the chat. And yeah, here's a very interesting example that one of my mentors gave me regarding procrastination. So, procrastination mainly happens because of 2 reasons. Is one, you believing that the actions that you're doing will not lead to the result that you want, or you just not wanting the result in general. Like, for example, let's say doing project 1 or 2, you would get procrastination to do that because maybe you don't believe those projects will lead you into actually getting the goal, or you just don't really want the goal in general. Right? So imagine if you knew guaranteed that you doing project 1 and 2 will guaranteed lead you to making 2, 3, 4, 5 grand. Guaranteed. There's no chance you won't. Would you not do it? Of course you will. You'll do it ASAP. That's the energy that I'm asking you to bring, because it's already proven from all the case study videos, me as an example, other people as an example. Brother Fahim got a client this week. I wanted him to come on board, but of course he's a family man. He wasn't able to make it this week. He might next week. But his story, and that's why I made this presentation on this topic, his story is incredible. Like, he lost 150,000 pounds in a scam. 150,000 pounds is, I think, 200,000 or more USD. He lost that, but he still, jumped on board, and he still, went ahead and did this program. And he's doing pretty well. He's making good progress considering how long ago he's joined the program. Another big example of this is Numaya. She lost 52K in a scam, and then still went on to do this. Didn't tell her family, didn't tell her husband, and she's one of the most successful people in the program. She's moved on to having a B2C offer as well, and she's getting 2 to 3 clients every single week. That's the last update she gave me. But anyway, this just shows the people that actually have that childlike enthusiasm to keep going, not lead those stupid thoughts that we get. Oh, will this work? Why is it going to work? It's not realistic. To not hold them back from doing the actions. Just having that childlike curiosity to keep on doing things, keep on testing things. But anyway, moving on to emotional maturity. Emotional maturity, what I've realized is knowing and understanding your patterns as a human, and knowing your own patterns as a human as well, and making sure you adapt to those and knowing what needs to be done to actually get what you want. I'm going very wishy-washy into this. I know it can kind of seem very silly. What I'm saying is sounds motivational and all that stuff, but again, I keep stressing this is very, very practical stuff. And yeah, noticing patterns in life, as I was saying before, that there's always disruption that follows intention. When you make the intention to do something, there's always disruption. And with a goal, like, making 10K a month, you can expect some solid disruption to come before you can make some sort of progress. But it's about you consistently coming up with a routine every single day to put those 45 minutes, an hour, etc., to implement project 1 and 2 consistently, to then actually book those consultations, 30 consultations in total, so you can get a worst case 10% closing rate, what I went through last week, to then get your 3 clients. Nothing, whatever I tell you guys, whatever the results that we promise is based off of KPIs and a very, very, I call it depressing closing rate. There's nothing crazy being promised. As long as you book those consultations, you will get the results. But again, it's noticing at the start will be very difficult. You have to push past that, create a routine to make it easy for you to do those effective actions. Realize the power of mindset. Ask yourself, what is the difference between you and a homeless person? What's the difference between you and a millionaire? It's just one thing. It's just a way of thinking, being able to implement new things, being able to look at new things, being able to very quickly adapt to new things. It's just way of thinking. Way of thinking is everything in this life. And lastly, to really make sure that I'm maximizing your guys' way of thinking the most that I possibly can, as someone that, as your Muslim brother, trying to help you out, I've given you guys this challenge that, 500 pounds for the person that can get the next three clients the quickest. It's on till the 8th of June. So far, Bassett seems to be, the closest one to winning. He's got two clients. But who knows? There's nothing stopping you guys from getting three clients instantly. Just use Project One. That's the fastest way that you can actually potentially beat Bassett. But he's on the way to potentially getting three clients by the 8th. But who knows? But whoever does win, I'll make sure to bring them onto this group call and pay them in front of everyone, so you guys know I haven't just made things up. But anyway, any questions? Anything that you'd like to discuss, please stay relevant to the topic. Anything whatsoever? Okay, cool. I mean, you guys don't seem to have any questions. We don't need to kind of drag the call out. Now that we need to